Welcome, everybody, to Math and Technology Unite. We are happy to be here. I'm going to go to our introduction slide. So my name is Ashley Winkle. I'm going to let Krista introduce herself when I'm done. I am the Associate Director of the Distance Education Professional Development Center. It's a lot of words. But previous to that, once upon a time, I was a GED teacher, trainer, distance learning lead, tech coach, you name it, I pretty much did it. But my true passion was technology and integrating technology into instruction. Now, why would you bring me into this when I was I was a math teacher, but I was not very good at math teacher. I was that teacher. So I kind of had to learn as I went, but I used a lot of technology to support me in my endeavors. So anyhow, a lot of the stuff you're going to see today, you're going to see a lot of things. I am going to say that before we even get started. You're going to see a lot of tech tools. We're going to go to a lot of links, but I do not want you to feel overwhelmed. We do not expect you to use them all. In fact, we don't even expect you to use a fourth of them. If you can find one good tool that you could take with you to your actual tutoring sessions, that's what our real mission is here today. So just kind of focus, and mostly you just want to kind of relax and pay attention to what we're doing. And there's going to be very interactive, so there's going to be a lot of activity, so just be prepared for that. But mostly I think you're going to have a lot of fun. And I'm going to let Krista introduce herself.
Good evening. So glad you are here with us today. I am Krista Mosier, and I am the Associate Director of Field PD Services for Train PD at TCAL. I've been in AEL for over 30 years and with Train PD for almost 8 years. But my background in AEL is as a teacher in the classroom with GED, mainly working in math, science, and social studies GED classes, but I've done it all. And part before I was with Train PD, I was with the math initiative that Texas created for adult education, and then with the master teacher program with Train PD, also in math. So I brought the math to this presentation, and Ashley made it better with the technology. So like she said, just sit back. We've got a lot. It's very interactive. There's only 27 slides to this PowerPoint. So, but we will get through and do a lot of stuff tonight.
And yeah, and just a couple of other just little housekeeping sites. So we also have Megan is with us today as support as well. So if you guys have questions, because we're such a small group, feel free to unmute yourself. I think we're totally good with that. And, or type in the chat, whatever you're more comfortable doing. And, if, we are going to have a break in between, like we will get through about halfway mark. We'll probably have a break, I think about 7:30, as I recall, somewhere in there, just depending on where we're at. And but if you need to do anything, just let us know. If you need to step away or anything, if you can just kind of give us a heads up in the chat or something like that, just so that we know if you're, there and not ignoring us. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're gonna do right off the bat is we are going to talk about some math tech confessions. So I was going to mention also all the links that we go to will be in the chat. So you don't have to actually type in this URL or anything like that. If you prefer to use your phone, you're welcome to scan that QR code. Personally, I prefer just going directly to the link. So I will pull it up. But what we will be looking at right off the bat is a Padlet. And what you're going to do is you're going to see, I think we've got 4 questions on there. You're going to answer each question. And then you're going to read your colleagues' answers and respond if you have time. And if you don't, no worries, because we're going to go through the answers together as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up for us so we can see. It is confession time. Make this bigger so that we can see it. I mean, I'm the one who's probably the most blind here. Anyway, so this is a Padlet. If you're not familiar with Padlet, it is probably one of the more popular tools out there that teachers like to use. Don't know if I don't know if this would be convenient or not for tutoring sessions unless you wanted to get different students' feedback on the same topic. It'd be a great opportunity. But what you're going to do is here our question. Your first question is, what is your teaching background? Second is, what is your experience with using technology in a classroom environment? By the way, it's okay if you don't have any. What technology do you use, if any, during a tutoring session? And the last question is going to be, what math-related technology tools or concepts make you feel a bit like you're solving a complex equation? So I will go ahead and demonstrate how this works. You will see on the bottom, there's this little plus sign. You're going to click on it, and you're just going to say, you can put your name if you want to on the top. That's kind of the title. And then you can just tell us, you can add things to it too if you want to, but you're just going to kind of tell us, my background is primarily GED. And once you put that, and of course, you're just gonna, after that, you'll just publish. But you can see, you can add different things to this. You can add a picture if you want to get fancy, but no need for that. All we're doing is just looking to kind of have a little icebreaker and connect with each other. Once you type that in, you will click on publish, and we'll see your answer right there. You probably won't see your name on there unless you have an account and you're logged in. So it'll probably say anonymous. But you'll notice that then I can go in and say, oh my God. You don't have to say, oh my God, but you could say something, you can comment is what I'm trying to say. That's amazing. And you just hit enter, and then we can comment, and you can also love each other's posts as well. So first step is to go to the Padlet, and I believe Krista has dropped the Padlet in the chat. Krista or Megan, I think it was Megan. And you click on the link, it's going to take you to this page. If you get to this page, you are in the right spot. I can see a couple people are on here already. And I know it takes a little while to type, so we'll wait and see what your answers are. If you are having any problem, just raise your hand or unmute yourself and say, hey, I need help. And we'll go from there. Okay, we've got some people are starting to type. You can notice that I can see that I can tell when people are typing. This is a new feature of Padlets because I can see it on top. So that kind of lets you know that your students are engaging with you. First person said 30 years in education, 10 years in GED, last 3 years are virtual. Substituted on occasion, but not for math. However, I worked the technology for a math instructor. Ooh, awesome. Been tutoring for about 6 years in GED math, and I will tell you that we are very grateful to you guys. Trust me, especially as non-math teachers, non-good at math teachers. I sent a lot of my students to you guys several years ago, and they loved you. So we are very grateful that you guys, do have you. I have taught math for 8 years in elementary, middle, and high school. Awesome. 14 years working as a special education teacher aide in math department. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so that gives us a little bit. I think that's everybody. I'll keep an eye on it in case I'm wrong about that. Next question they're going to answer is, what is your experience with using technology in a classroom environment? And like I said, if you don't have any, that's fine. You just say don't have any. This one says prior to student nest 0. Okay, fair enough. I think traditionally math teachers didn't really use a lot of math up until probably recent years. I'm just going to answer the questions as they come in. So what technology do you use during your tutor sessions? Zoom, YouTube, saved worksheets, practice from the internet? Great. YouTube, how did we ever exist without it is what I'm constantly wondering. So as they're typing, Krista, did you ever use technology when you were in the classroom?
I did not until I got my Promethean board.
Oh, see, if I had one of those, I'd never use anything else.
And when I got my Promethean board, yeah, it was like a whole new world opened, and I was doing graphing and the coordinate plane and circle. It was just absolutely amazing what I could do with that Promethean board.
Oh, I would love to just get my hands on one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Joe says, I have some experience using technology in the classroom. It keeps changing every year. It's getting worse, Joe, because now with AI integrations, it's moving faster. I'm like, oh my gosh, as a tech person, every time I'll tell you right now, Padlet completely changed in the last like month, I think, in particular, because it's completely different now. And it's hard to keep up with, I will tell you that. I've used Google Classroom and Edmodo for years. Yeah, Edmodo went away recently. That was one of the first ones I ever used too. So Edmodo was a learning management system that was looked like Facebook for students. Linda, Remind, wonderful. Remind is a communication tool. YouTube, Google Classroom, Zoom. Not really, but I did take a course in college about integrating the use of technology in math classes. Awesome. Not much, just basic stuff like Zoom and Google online classes. Great. Next question is, what technology do you use during your tutor sessions? Got the first one. Joe says, I'm using Jamboard, has been a little slow lately. Yeah, and also, Joe, I don't know if you're aware, but are you aware that Jamboard is going away at the end of the year, which we are all pretty much devastated about.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, those jerks. What was so nice about it is it's free and it's easy to use. You know, what I didn't like about it is students on a phone, it doesn't work that well with, but yeah, but you know, it's definitely one of our favorites. There's a petition out there trying to save it, but you know, Google's a lot bigger than us educators, so I don't know that they care. Linda, I need tutor sessions. Nancy said Zoom, Jamboard, Khan Academy, YouTube. Yes, Khan Academy is a treasure. Yeah, but it's just so big anymore. It keeps getting bigger and bigger that I find it overwhelming unless you really guide the student. Okay, we're still taking, okay, here we go. Good Notes app. Oh, Good Notes app with iPad. Okay, see, that's something I have not heard of, but I don't use a lot of iPads. So I might have to, I do like doing these sessions too, because I get to learn with you guys. So, you know, if I don't know something, I'm always wanting to go check it out. Good Notes. Is Good Notes on iPhone as well? The last one is going to be, what math-related technology tools or just concepts makes you feel a little like you're solving a complex question? So anything you want that makes you feel a little bit like maybe frustrated or overwhelmed. I'm thinking what I think of when I look at a math word problem. It does not have to be a technology tool. We'll give you guys a few more minutes.
It's not letting me open it up for some reason.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you can just share if you would like, or put it in the chat. We always have workarounds with our technology. Also, ChatGPT helps me feel like the complex equation isn't so complex.
Right.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I have started using AI tools. I have 4 of them that I use regularly, but I turned it into my Google now. I don't even use Google anymore because I keep forgetting how much better and faster the AI is, because it gives me everything. It's a totally different world. It has nothing to do with math. But if I was a math teacher, I would be in heaven if I wouldn't know how to figure out a math problem. All right, so we're at about 6:17. We'll give it about one more minute. Oh, okay, good comment. Math technology is so overwhelming. About the time I think I figure it all out, it all changes. Yeah, I think that's a really good comment. And I feel that way about certain tools in particular. And so you will not hear me promote certain tools before that reason. I think for me, one of them was of course, I'm talking about, I'm a tech person who's not great at math. So GeoGebra was a nightmare for me. When I don't know if anyone else has ever looked at that one, but it's just so big and overwhelming. And I don't know, I haven't been on there in years, but maybe they've improved it. I don't know. But like other ones that do some amazing things, they have it so nicely organized that, I tend to go that direction. So I do think that's a really good point. And, and for a long time, there weren't that many things out there, but they're starting to be. So, we're just going to kind of look at today, just nothing I don't think anything's too heavy. Like I said, you're going to see things today that are, everything I talk about is going to be free. First of all, that's the most important thing. They might have a paid version, but we're only going to look at the free part of it. And the other thing is you're going to see tools that sometimes you have to have an account and sometimes you don't need an account at all. You can just pull the tool up and use it and your student can use it in a piece of cake. So we're going to look at both. So we have lots of options. We got really, really simple things and a little bit more complex things. And you get to kind of just pick and choose what you want. Oh, yes, Joe, the TI-30XS is very helpful for our GED students. Yeah, absolutely. The calculator. In fact, I just gave one to my niece the other day because I happen to have one of those in my drawer as I was cleaning it out. All right, so thank you guys for sharing, participating in our icebreaker. I will go over the objectives and then I think I turn it over to you, Krista. And if I'm wrong on that, sorry. I don't have my pacing guide in front of me. Going
Go
on memory.
ahead.
Okay. All right, so today, our objectives for you is by the end of the session, we hope that you gain key insights into effective methods that AEL math teachers are starting to use for teaching math skills by using technology. Recognize the significance of connecting math concepts to real-world scenarios. And identify the essential digital literacy skills required for students to effectively apply math skills in a workplace setting. But like I said, your underlying real point today's session is try to find at least one tool. If you find more, great, but I will tell you, don't overwhelm yourself. 1 to 3, I wouldn't go more than that. But at the end of this, we'll give you, access to the resources we look at today. And then if you ever have any questions or need any help or anything, we do have a call center that you can call. That's open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. That is always there to help you with anything you guys need to help with, even if you just want to play around with it. I'm going to hand this over to Krista.
All right. So again, we just kind of did some icebreakers with the technology stuff. So this is going to be a group discussion. I would love to have you unmute if you feel comfortable. If not, please put your answers in the chat. So the question number 1 is, how can educators strike the right balance between traditional teaching methods and innovative approaches? I'll give you a minute to think about that. And again, just unmute and start talking. Raise your hand, put it in the chat.
Well, in our case, uh, we're more of a one-on-one. So versus traditional being in a classroom with 20 to 25 students. So I think us, we kind of have an advantage because we're able to deal one-on-one with students and help them, reach their goals.
Okay, great. Great. And you can even, think back for those of you that have been in a classroom before, not necessarily just in your tutoring sessions now, but, anybody else have something they'd like to share with this question?
I think sometimes it's easier with the technology to go back. We can go back and look at things and review things that in a traditional setting may not have been quite as easy. Because we can go back to Mr. Joe talked about the calculator. We have the example of the calculator video, and we can flip back to there and say, right, remember, this is how you do this, at minute 17, we're talking about fractions or whatever it is, and we can review just pull that little piece out and just do that one piece.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like that. And like, okay, go, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name.
Hard one. You can call me G. That's easy.
Okay. Hi,
Just
G.
yes. I also think it's like customized learning experience for students as well, because what are the students we are teaching? They go in classrooms, and when they come us like, oh, our teacher went really fast. Can you tailor, the session according to my needs? So we work according to the needs and probably pull some kind of videos on YouTube that they might be lacking and give them like, hey, have a look at this. So that's how technology we can integrate in our sessions. That's how I like to do, so that they can get something rather than giving them some homework. Give them something technology, they can watch it, they can feel comfortable when they come back. Oh, that was really helpful. It added something to my concepts, so my concepts are more clear. There is so much dynamics in math, like we can add all those kind of things without them feeling burdened. That's what I feel.
All right, thank you, G. Very good. Anyone else?
I think along to G's comment, it's being flexible so that, adapting your teaching to what works best for the students in the classroom and the subject. Along
And the teacher.
And the teacher.
Teacher,
yes.
and the teacher, yes.
Exactly. And it's like, listen and adjust, right?
Yes.
And don't be afraid to try new things.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Thank you, Linda. And that kind of takes us to our second question, which is, how can technology be seen as a complementary tool rather than a replacement for traditional teaching? Because I think that's where in the AEL field, I think some teachers feel like they're being left in the dust because there's so much focus on technology and they're afraid of it, and then they just kind of lock down and say, no, I'm not doing it. But we need to show it as a complementary tool. So what are all your thoughts on this question?
And maybe this is because of my lack of experience with lots of technology, that's exactly how I use it. I use it as a complementary in addition to, we'll talk about concepts and give a foundation, and then we will use we'll use the YouTube, we'll use the other kinds of things, the Khan Academy, the kinds of things for extra practice or expansion of the concept, but not in place of the traditional teaching.
Very nice, Polly. Yes. Anybody else?
Well, like I
Hey,
mentioned earlier,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. G.
Go
Like
ahead,
I
Mr.
mentioned,
Joe.
okay, thank you. Thank you. Like I mentioned earlier, I started using the Jamboard, and that's a really, really good tool because, whatever we cover during our session, I email it to the students and they're able to go back and look at their notes and look at our notes. And anything that they didn't understand, they could go ahead and review it. Now, Zoom also has that as well. Now, I'm using the traditional whiteboard on Zoom, the regular one, but there's also an app down at the bottom that I just so happened to click on it. I saw whiteboards. I said, what is that? So I clicked on it, and that is very similar to what the Jamboard is.
It is.
Now I haven't used it, but I think that's going to be a very helpful tool once Jamboard goes away.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. We used it at some point, like we meaning a bunch of tech people messing around. We used it at one time, and before we even knew Jamboard was leaving, and we were like, it's not the same. But that was a long time ago, and Zoom moves so fast too. Like, talk about technology constantly changing. Like, I'm not actually on Zoom as much as other people. So every time I get on, I'm like, but that's usually how I find things on Zoom too, is just by accidentally hitting something. I'm like, hey, there's avatars on here. Who knew? So that's a good point. And I would love to hear if it is, if that it does work as well, because hopefully that is a good option. Plus, that'd be easier because then you don't have to go, find your own somewhere. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to add to that?
Mr. G.
I just want to mention, like, if a student does a question, and we don't have multiple questions based on the same topic, we can even search, and figure out the questions, bring us similar questions so student has better understanding of those. So there's a wide range of resources we can access, I believe. And it also, to add on that, it also provides us immediate feedback when we do a Jamboard student is solving. Okay, I'm adding to Mr. Joe's, comment. So student is solving, we know, like, oh, student has hurdle in this step, so we can focus on those steps a lot. So that's really helpful, I feel. So I think that's a complementary tool rather than saying like it's replacing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's kind of goes back to here, go to Khan Academy and learn the math, versus, utilizing it kind of like I think Paula was saying earlier, like as extra practice and things like that. It doesn't, I mean, it's great that we all know the videos on there are great. If nothing else, it's a great refresher, but hey, go ahead and refresh your memory and then, do the actual math problems on there. I think and I think it's also important to point out that, not using technology for the use for the point of using technology. I mean, there should be a point of it. It's supposed to be a tool, right? So using it for the right reasons is also really important. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about.
I found it to be helpful to kind of flip this, and this was an old something I would do in the classroom, preparing for a test. Mm-hmm. And so what I've done is I've flipped things around, having my students teach me, where we have the concept now, and especially if I know they're struggling in a concept, you can use all the tools you want, you can use whatever you want, but you teach me. I'm the student now. You're the teacher. You teach me. And then, through that, I try to get a grasp of how well they understand the reasoning behind it, not just the computation, but the reasoning.
I love that. Well, yeah. And I mean, teaching is the best way to learn anything. I think the things I'm most of an expert at because I taught them. I learned math from teaching than I did from any teacher. I'll tell you that right now.
Add to that, like I use sometimes Excel for my students. So I show them how to do like data analysis when they have questions on data analysis.
Excel, nice.
Yeah, so I'm pretty new to Excel too. I just learned Excel in my master's. So it's a pretty interactive learning, and they see, oh, we didn't knew Excel could do this. We could really feed numbers in there. So when I show them, like, no, you can bring any graphs in there. You can analyze things. Amazing. So it's very easy. And then they go more into it, and then they're like, okay, what else can Excel do? I was like, there are more softwares in Excel, like Stata, Python, SQL, you can do that. And so that really helps them. That intrigues them, that they want to be more interested in learning as well.
Yeah. And, and just kind of also mention, for me anyway, also mentioning to them, hey, where else you could use this and that. Hey, at a lot of jobs, they require this skill. So this is a great skill to have to put on your resume and, things like that. And so, or you can just use it in your personal life to help you budget and things like that. So yeah, Excel is it's an amazing tool. And I think it's great that you're using that. Okay, I think we can move on.
Yep.
And it is, yeah, I've got my pacing guide up now, so
okay,
I'll stop interrupting you.
Oh, you're fine, Ashley. All right, so we're going to get into our presentation now, and you're going to see we use the same pattern. We're going to do a traditional math lesson, and then Ashley is going to do what we call the power lesson, and then it's your turn to go into and practice with some of the tools that we talk about in each individual lessons. And these lessons go from fairly simple to a little bit more complex. But you'll just kind of see how the pattern runs. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is traditional math lesson characteristics. So I mentioned that I have been in AEL for 30 years. I started off with the very traditional lesson plan, the learner will, and number one, we pull out our textbooks, or I give out a worksheet. We do this kind of stuff. And my lessons were all for face-to-face classrooms. I very rarely use technology. And I kind of recycled my lesson plans. I didn't update them all the time because it worked. So why do something that's not broken? And then a lot of times multi-level students weren't considered. So if you've been in the classroom, you kind of think back in those, I call them the dark days, are those the kind of lesson plans that you had as well? The face-to-face, not much technology. You had your classroom and you taught to that classroom. And, your high students, we just kind of had to work with, maybe give them an extra worksheet and say, here, work on this. And your slower students, you maybe put with another student or such. So these are the traditional math lesson characteristics. So first thing we're going to do is look at oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the slide, sorry. As we go through the lessons, identify activities and our EdTech tools that could be used in a virtual tutoring session. So we tried to work this presentation towards what you guys do in your tutoring. But so listen to how things work and how where you could see using a tutoring experience. Oh, okay. So Megan put in the chat a link to a original lesson plan on number conversion, otherwise known as fractions and decimals and stuff like that. So this would be a lesson that I would have taught in my traditional classroom. And I'm going to have Ashley kind of go down. These are based on our content standards, Texas content standards. So that's what that whole first part about is. So she's opening the document for me. The link should take you to this as well so that you can kind of keep up with it. So on this lesson plan, we have the academic skills, we have the workplace readiness and employment skills. Going down, go into the materials needed. Okay, so when you look at this, I use a computer and a projector to show math.com table of fraction to decimal conversions. I used a whiteboard and markers for instructor and student examples. I had copies of guided practice and independent practice problems. I used various colors of poster board, scissors, and glue sticks for a fraction wall activity, and we'll show that in just a minute. And use a computer and projector to show the example. So, no, go ahead and just keep going down, Ashley. Okay. And again, traditional, we did our warm up and review. We're going to talk about converting decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. The introductions, let's learn about converting them. And this is all just discussion by the teacher. The teacher's up in front, just teaching away. The presentation part, I'm using the whiteboard because sometimes you just need a whiteboard. Sometimes you just need to show how to work a problem. And then, okay, go ahead and go on down. So we do the presentation, we talk, then we give the students some probably a worksheet or something else to work on. And go ahead and go down. Again, and then this is the fraction wall. How many of you have seen that in an elementary classroom? Probably. You could use it in an adult ed classroom because our adult ed students like using their hands as well. They like doing things. But you have the showing the conversions and how they work and talk to each other as far as 1/2 and 1/2 makes a whole, and 1/6, how many 6 does it take to make that one whole? And the guided practice is actually cutting and making their own fraction wall. Okay. And then at the end, we do some independent practice, again, probably with worksheets. And so does that not look like a very traditional math lesson? What you would use in a regular classroom? I see Joe's shaking his head. So yes, yeah, very, very traditional, very little technology, right? All right. Do you see anything in this lesson plan that you might be able to use in a tutoring session? I see lots of yeses in the chat. But in a tutor, Linda says, I love the fraction wall. Just wait, Linda. Hold on. There's something even better. So anything else that you could see that you might use in a tutoring session if you had somebody call in that needed helps with fractions and conversions? Okay, the fraction wall is good. Okay. All right. And just to add a little twist to that, obviously in a tutoring session, you can't use poster board and scissors and markers and stuff. So I'm going to end my section and Ashley's going to take it next to the power lesson.
Okay, and I did want to explain, so when we originally created this workshop, which we created it several years ago, actually about 3 years ago, I believe. Originally what we did is she did like a traditional lesson and I took her traditional lesson and made the entire thing digital because I'm a very digital person. So I'd make every single section digital. And then where we came up with the power lesson is the idea of it's taking the best of both worlds. So taking the technology and taking the traditional and combining them together. So we're going to look at the first one for number conversion. You will notice, I will make this bigger so we can see it a little bit better, but you will notice that I have every part of this lesson on one forum. So this is called a Wakelet. If you're not familiar with a Wakelet, it is a curation tool, but it allows you to put everything into one place. So I use this a lot in a virtual setting because instead of having to go off over to different things and try to keep track of everything, I could just literally follow the lesson plan one step at a time. But also I found that if my students couldn't make it, I could actually send them the lesson and they could work on it independently as well. So usually when I design my lessons, I try to do it that way. But just to give you, we're just going to walk through it. It's a little bit different from how Krista did it, obviously. But the first thing that we start with is a little pre-assessment with quizzes just to kind of see where they're at. So if you're not familiar with quizzes, it is a very fun ed tech game-based tool that you can assign to students, just as simple as homework. So instead of doing a Khan Academy, you could just see, and they already have them made. So this is why I love them. So I literally just put this one together this afternoon. I'm pretending I'm the student, so it took me directly to this quizzes. My name is in there. I start it and give me a little bonus. I didn't know it was gonna make all that noise. They keep changing it. But from there, I start the game and it's game-based. So they're competing with each other, but it's not at the same time. And then you'll see it's gonna ask the question. You can, monitor the speed or anything like that, but I've got 20 questions on there and it's kind of fun. I used to have my students request that I would, give them practice on quizzes because it's a little bit more fun than doing it traditional. So it kind of breaks things up and makes it more engaging. You can do quizzes live as well, but I could see this as, get some more practice with quizzes. From there, we went the traditional method and we did, I will demonstrate, on the whiteboard as Krista talked about earlier, but then Now we have an Edpuzzle lesson. So Edpuzzle is an interactive video. So basically, I'll just kind of show you a little bit. I'm going to say, oh, it might not let me in because it's expired. Let's just see. No, it's not going to let me. So anyway, not going to let me because I forgot to check this one link. But anyway, Edpuzzle, what it does is it takes like a YouTube video or a Khan Academy video or anything like that, but it allows for interactions throughout it. So you can either make your own or you can go to their library and they already have so many made for you. But the nice thing is like they'll watch a part of it and then it pauses so that they can like process and they can answer the question or figure out the problem or anything like that. And before they go on, they have to answer the question and then they go on. So if they get it wrong, they can go back and they can review it. So this is another really good like opportunity with that same idea of Khan Academy, except it's a little bit more engaging. So we went fractions to decimals, did another one for decimals to fractions. Again, like I said before, if the student missed my class, they could always go back and view these lessons as well. Guided practice, this is what Krista and I got so excited about this. And this is an incredible tool because it does so much more than we even realize. So this is a digital fraction wall. What is really appealing to this for me is there is no account. I don't need an account to use it, which means my students don't need one either, but it does so much more than just fractions, but we didn't even know that until we had people do it for us. But you'll see it's the exact same concept. It's just a little bit more interactive. So if you have, you know, a student struggling with fractions, this is a wonderful visualization for them. And just to let you know, you're going to have an opportunity in a few minutes to play with some of these. You'll get to choose which ones you want to play with. But this is just one thing it does. It does all sorts of different things. And we didn't even know that until we had done one of these sessions. So it was kind of fun. Going back to our lesson. So they go to the interaction fraction wall. And then they play. After that, what we do is we have them work in small groups or partners. Each pair is assigned a line from the fraction wall, and they document how the calculations were figured out, share it with the class, and then maybe they create a real world problem of their own and share it with the class. So kind of same concept of becoming the teacher. They, you know, obviously in a traditional classroom, they could do poster board, or they could, you know, do something online using Zoom or Google Slides. Independent practice, another tool for your possible math toolkit is formative. So what I like about formative is it looks beautiful on a phone for one thing, but it's so good with math. And they have a lot of these already made for you. And this was, I believe this one, the nice thing is you can take a PDF and you can upload it and it turns it into a digital document. So that's the reason you'll see this one show your work so they can actually, you know, show how to do it. But it's an amazing tool. But again, that's going to be a heavier tool to learn. So, you know, that's why if you're not using a lot, you probably don't, but it is nice to check out because the library has things that are already made, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then I just ended with another quizzes or you could do a different activity. And then finally we did an exit ticket using Google Forms, always a great, easy assessment tool to use. Always nice to kind of reflect on their learning as well. All right, so I'm going to get out of all of these tabs that I'm in now, go back to my slides and take a pause for a moment. I know, like I said, I know that I showed you a lot very quickly as well, but did you see any activities that you feel, activities, tools, or anything else that you feel you could, oh, I do see some people with questions in the chat, so let me address those first. So Paula asks, can I make a Wakelet and use it over and over again? Yes, Paula, that is the genius of technology. I have, which I share with you on soon, but I have an entire like website that I designed that have digital lessons that are already made, and and that's the point, is they can be used over and over and over again. So, and not only that, you can make a copy of them and then edit it if you want to change anything for a different student. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, you can make a file of Wakelets as well. Yeah, so the website itself, like it allows you, they're called spaces. And so it's like organizing it into folders. That is cool, very cool. I'd like to learn more about Wakelet. Well, you know, that we took that one off, Krista, of our activities. But that's
But-
okay.
But I was just looking in the PD portal, we do have a couple of tech and tells.
That's
on
true.
the
I
Wakelet.
did some tech and tells a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you know, and if you ever want help, like I said, getting started, call our call center because we can help you. I'm kind of been known as the Wakelet Queen, so I'm a big advocate of it. So already we've gotten some answers to these, to this question, about activities that you could use in a virtual environment. Anything else that you guys saw that you think, you know, might be worth exploring? Yeah, and I will say the Tech Intels, we have so much stuff on the Tech Intels that, you know, you might find useful as well. And, you know, and that's an easy way to get PD credit as well. Okay, we are a little tight on time because believe it or not. So I'm gonna move on, Krista,
okay.
to the activity. Okay, so we have a little breakout activity for you. Yes, Joe, absolutely. Like I said, you'll have all of these on a Wakelet at the very end. So you know, like I said, you know, they're fun to explore for sure. So we're going to do a little online scavenger hunt, and what's going to happen is in a few moments here, Megan will put a breakout session. These are the ones that we have for you to explore. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the website. You're going to answer the questions on your scavenger hunt EdTech form. So we will be giving you guys the links to these once you're in the breakout rooms. And then be ready to maybe share your ideas if we have time. But breakout room 1 will be quizzes. Breakout 2 will be Ed Puzzle. And breakout 3 will be the fraction wall. I don't know how you say it. Visnos. I'm not sure how it is. And what we will do is we'll come around to each breakout room, make sure that you have the links so that you can do the scavenger hunt. And so I'm going to stop sharing, I think. Yeah. And Megan, can you post the breakout rooms? Or launch, I guess, the breakout rooms. Okay, awesome. So you get to choose which one you want to do. And I'm going to do is grab our links. Krista, I will take. I'll take Ed Puzzle. Do you want to take quizzes?
Yep.
And then Megan, are you able to grab the link and go to the Visnos?
She can't because she's a host. She
Oh,
can't.
darn it. I forget. Okay, I'll try to do both. I'll just be really fast.
Okay.
All right, quizzes is already in there, so I'll just jump in there.
Okay, you're doing quizzes?
Yeah, and I don't see anybody in the other two.
Okay, so I'll hit those. I'll go to Visnos.
Okay.
So the links are where? Where do I find the links?
We're going to give them to you. We're going to jump in your breakout room with you and we'll give them to you.
Hi guys. So this one isn't really like you just go to the room, you have to choose the room. So
But where do we choose the room?
it should pop up on your screen that there's breakout rooms. Are you not seeing it?
I don't see anything.
I might just assign you to
Well,
one. Is there one that you want to be in?
I want it to be in the puzzle one.
Okay. Ed puzzle?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Imelda, are you having trouble getting into a breakout room?
Not anymore, it looks like.
Not anymore.
I had problems going to the right one. Where do my breakout rooms go? Hold on. Where are they? They're there. Okay, I'll be back. Quizzes.
Alrighty.
Hi, Krista.
Hey,
And just so you know, I believe I can join the groups as a host,
okay.
just for
It-
future
that-
reference.
That's okay. Did she? I need to talk to Ashley.
Okay. I think she's in the Visnos one.
Business.
I'm not
No,
sure.
I was in the Visnos.
Oh, well, she went into one and then popped out and then went into another one. Um, let me see. Oh, she's in the Ed puzzle right now. And sorry about the link. I realized what I was doing wrong.
our the Google Sheets, the scavenger hunts were locked into our adult into A&M, so she's having to pull it out and make it. So
Gotcha.
that's why we're kind of jumping around.
Okay. I just realized I set this breakout room up with a timer. I didn't even click on anything to do the timer. But is there a time that you guys want me to stop the breakout rooms?
They're gonna need more time because we've got a little bit behind.
With the
So I
hiccup
don't,
with the links, yeah.
I don't know if you can.
I can continue it. I looked it up. I was like, oh no, how do you
Okay.
extend the time? But so I can extend it, but not until like it's like, do you want to close all the rooms? And I'll say no.
Okay, perfect.
But if there's like a time when you want me to cut everyone off, let me know.
I will let you know.
Hi, did you get the links to work?
I thought I had remembered everything and A&M always restricts it. And I forgot to go through all 5 of them and fix them, but I'm gonna get them all. They're fixed on their ends. I'm just gonna fix the others right now. Always something.
Yeah. Especially these things with all the links.
Well, plus I had one of my agents do this for me, so I didn't even think to tell her.
Yeah.
Take that restriction off of there. Dear Father, school yourself. Time is up for the 11 breakout room. Do you want to? Let's give them a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I accidentally put a timer. I don't even remember putting a timer on this. So,
Okay.
but
can
once
just-
you start, then you can't take the timer off. I just extended it.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually running a little behind, but I think it's because people are talking, which is good. So if we have to cut one of them short, it's okay. Or we can cut that last activity short if we have to. We'll see.
Okay, so we're just gonna keep the.
We'll leave them in there for a few minutes. Since we had a little, I'm afraid they're gonna feel a little rushed otherwise.
Yeah.
No, I know we are running a little bit behind. But I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe they all wanted to do Wakelet though. Can never see that coming.
No. I want to do Wakelet.
Every time, Megan, every time it's something you never know what they're most interested in. So it's kind of been unexpected every single time. So okay, I got school yourself, Desmos, settings, responsive, stupid A&M restrictions.
I was like,
Ruining my life.
as soon as he said that, I was like, oh.
Well, and then I knew I was going to hear from you right away. I was like, shit. Dang it, Google. Responses. I think I got them all. They're in Vismos. Formative. Okay, they should all be fixed now.
Okay. What do you do to fix that? Just,
You have to go to settings and then you have to go, once you're in settings, yeah, they moved everything around also, by the way. You go to where it says responses. And then you have to click on where it says
Gotcha.
restrict to users and move that over. So if I had thought about it, I would have told Rebecca to do that for me the other day, but
yeah.
I did not think about that.
Will, on the Nearpod activities, will that need to be done on the Nearpod?
No, it's already fixed.
Okay. I'm just
No,
making
the
sure
links
for.
didn't change. I mean, the links didn't change. I'm not gonna say it wouldn't benefit somebody to go through the Nearpod just to double check. Because it is technology. Okay, let me look at, I need to shut my door. Damn dogs keep coming in and out.
We're at 7:03.
7:03, and we were going to be done at 7, so we're not
7.
that far off. What do you think? Give them about 2 more minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're probably not going to get through the whole thing, but at least they'll get an idea. Megan, do you want to send them like a little notification? Or I can do it. Hold on.
Sure.
Maybe I can do it. Oh, I can't do it because I'm not the host.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
I'll
broadcast. There it is. I see it
broadcast.
now.
And you just want me to say,
I got it. 2 more minutes.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll just give them like 2 more minutes and bring them back. Let me go.
One thing that we can tell them too is that when they go in the rooms, that somebody can share their screen
Mhm.
if they want to look at it together.
Yeah, I meant to do that actually, and I forgot. I mean, if we run a little bit over, we'll just cut the break by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 minutes online is kind of, I guess, unless you're going out to smoke.
Right.
All right, I think you can bring them back, Megan.
Okay.
I shared the wrong one, didn't I? Yep. Welcome back, everybody.
Sorry about the little hiccup at the beginning. Well, Ashley's got them fixed for the next two.
Yeah, this is what happens with working with technology, right?
Yeah. And
Does
A&M
Go ahead.
locks everything down, and you gotta make sure.
Yes, absolutely. While I'm pulling up my slides, does anybody have anything they want to share? I know it was very short, and cut a little bit shorter because I messed that up. But does anybody want to share anything that they learned about? Linda said that was fun, good. That's what it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
No point in doing this if it's not. Hold on.
I love that Visnos website. And when I was working with getting the scavenger hunts, it's just like I stayed in there for about 15, 20 minutes just trying all the different things. And I mean, and it looks kind of elementary, but I think could really easily use it with adults and they would get into it so much. And then I bring into that family literacy thing that you show it to a student and a student shows it to their child. And so anyway,
Absolutely. All right, so we are.
actually do,
Yes.
switch your screen.
Oh, I thought I had it right. I was doing so well, and then I got fouled up with those Google Forms. Screen 2. How about now?
There we go.
There we go. All right. Okay, business is great. I liked the Sieves tool. I don't know
The
what that
Sieves
is.
tool, yeah.
The what is it?
It's a sieve.
Oh, I don't know. I called it a sieve. I don't even know what that is. Maybe I should go look to figure out what that is. That's awesome. Anybody else? And I was gonna say at the end, so we're gonna do this about 2 more times. A little more exploring. I know it is a very short time. We're just trying to kind of give you an idea, you know, and if you don't finish the scavenger hunt, the world's not gonna end. But we just wanted to give you guys some guidance for what to look for. I need to get the door. Oh, okay. It was like, what does that mean? I got it after I said it out loud. But anyway, so we'll have a couple of other opportunities. I was going to say at the very end, the last one that we do, because there was so much interest in Wakelet, we only have 2 options on that last one. So if anybody wants to explore Wakelet, I'd be happy to, you know, join in with you and help get you started on that. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm going to move forward. And our next section is going to be calculating area, and I'm going to let Krista come back on and talk about the traditional lesson as soon as I get it opened up here.
Okay, so I love this, this one, and let me get it in the,
Can you see my screen?
yes.
Okay, just checking.
All right, the lesson plan is in the chat. So you can open that up and look at it. So finding area is one of my favorite lessons because the area formula makes sense to students. It's an introduction to algebra and the fact that variables actually mean something. A equals LW, length times width. So I really love this lesson. So and so when I would do this in my classroom, I'll go ahead and go down into our materials needed. So this will give you an idea of how hands-on I tried to be in my classroom. I use square floor tiles. If I couldn't get square floor tiles, I used outlines of squares and rectangles of varying sizes. Wheat thins or 1-inch squares of some material, rulers, the HSC formula pages, and grid paper. So the warm-up and review, we reviewed the names, definitions of shapes, introductions about painting a wall, buying carpet, using a tablecloth, and how you know how much materials to buy. The presentation came out with, I handed a group of students, normally 2 or 3 people at a time, handed them out a tile or a square, that paper square, and had them put down the number of wheat thins. Remember, a wheat thin is about a 1-inch square. So it gave them the visual of a 1-inch square. You know, for the square, when you do an area that's inches squared, you put the wheat thins on the tile, and the number of wheat thins that it took to cover the tile was your area. But frequently, as my students were doing this, somebody would get the smart idea of, oh, wait a minute, if I just multiply this times this, I'll get that without putting out all the wheat thins. So so it brought out a lot of discussion, a lot of hands-on in the classroom. Okay, go ahead and go down. So you can just see this, the whole lesson plan is there. And then we use, I show the formula page, use the 2 formulas. We use worksheets, some application things. There's a basic blueprint of a house with squares and or rectangles, so we can expand it, and also giving the area and this length of one side to find the length of the other side. So a lot of very easy things to expand on with this lesson, but my students loved it because they got to have crackers. You know, they always love food, and very hands-on, and actually fairly easy to do in the classroom. All right. So that's my traditional lesson on that. And now Ashley is going to go and do the power lesson.
Let me get myself unmuted here. Okay. All right. So power lesson, try to take, this time I took her lesson directly, because I don't think I've ever taught area, to be honest with you, but I had fun making this. So this time, instead of a Wakelet, what I used was just a Google document. These digital lessons that you're looking at, they're actually called hyperdocs. And I do actually have an entire website that's also going to be on the handout that has these different types of lessons on there. Purpose, again, is that they could do them independently as well as with a class. So this time we just did it a little bit differently. We start with going to a website called Which One Doesn't Belong. And this is, another free website and kind of a nice little warm-up activity. And basically you're trying to have the students determine which one doesn't belong, kind of building those, those critical thinking skills. It's a fun little website to kind of play around with. Again, it's one of those websites that has a bunch of stuff on it. We've got graphs and numbers and shapes, incomplete sets. I don't even know what that is, but I guess you figure it out. Anyway, it's a great tool, right? But it's free and you don't have to have a login. And so things like that sometimes make me really happy because I don't want to deal with all of that. So that's our first tool. But then as they're going through it, they review the first 10 sets of the shapes. And then in the table here, they're going to be actually interacting with this document. So they answer the question, describe the one that doesn't belong, explain why it does not belong. And they go through that for all 10. So that is just our little warm-up activity. From there, we go to Nearpod, which is an amazing assessment tool, interactive tool that can be used in 1,000 different ways. But for this particular activity, they go to the Nearpod, and it's kind of a lesson in itself because that's kind of how Nearpod is designed. I didn't think it would let me in because it's a little bit outdated. But Nearpod is another one that has all sorts of lessons already made. So you can just go in there and find one. And, if I type in area, they already exist is what's nice. Now, some of them are going to be kind of, based on K-12, but you can always make edits to them. But this kind of just gives you a little bit of a preview. Like he's got a video. If anybody knows Math Antics, that's that guy I recognize. But you can kind of go through and see if you like something. And then if you do, you can add it. But Nearpod's very interactive, but it is a heavier tool. So we don't put a lot of focus on that today. And also, I think it's a little bit more useful for a bigger group situation. But the one I do encourage everybody to go to is PhET, which I didn't link it, but that's okay because I can still find it. So PhET, has anybody ever used PhET, just out of curiosity? It is a simulation is what it is. So if I just type in PhET area, automatically it comes up with area builder / perimeter. And I'm actually going to grab that link because I forgot to put it on there. But if I click on it, I have an opportunity to explore. So kind of the same or similar idea of what Krista was doing, but you can do all of these fun things. There's different things that you can do. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert at it, but it's, kind of cool. You can refresh it if you want to go back, but it's allowing you to make it a little bit more real. PhET is an amazing, and again, I'm not logged into anything right now. I'm just able to link it. I link it to the lesson and the student can go explore. But what I did is I took it a little bit further on this. And I added actual questions for them to answer about the simulation. Sorry, I wanted to link that to it. You know, what method can be used to determine the area of the shape. So based on their experience, you know, we're trying again to build those critical thinking skills and get them thinking about their learning, basically, right? So a lot of opportunity there. I would expect that, you know, the first time you introduce a student to a tool like PhET, they probably may need a little assistance, but they've improved it. This website's been around for a long time, and they've definitely made improvements. From there, we just do a whole group presentation, just talking about areas of space occupied by a flat shape, you know, on and on. I talk about the formula page, much like Krista did. And then we went ahead and included her fun little wheat thins activity because I liked it. The only thing I did differently was add, you know, some questions to it for them to engage in it, because, you know, when you're in a classroom, and I know that that's not useful, probably quite the same, but when you're in the classroom, it was also important for me to be building those digital literacy skills for students. And I don't know about you, but my students didn't know how to keyboard. So it was, you know, we did a lot of things to get those skills being built a little bit. And she mentioned the HSE formula page. If this is still the right page, I also linked that to it so they could just have a version of it digitally. And then let's practice. Again, I told you I tend to use the same, well, I didn't tell you, but I tend to use the same tools repetitively, but Go Formative again is a tool. This is just kind of an example of how I imported a PDF into this, and like within moments, it created this little worksheet for me so that I didn't have to reinvent the wheel and do it myself. And then they just submit it. And that's just another formative assessment. And then again, I always like to end with a what did you learn, to reflect on their learning. And then of course I was like, I cannot help myself but to share my personal, not very good at math teacher website. This one I actually preferred over Khan Academy, because I don't know if it's going to load right now though. But School Yourself, I'm just going to get out of it so he doesn't start talking to me, but School Yourself is an interactive, they're interactive video lessons. And so, you know, as you go, I just like the way he teaches basically. So it's kind of an alternative. It's 100% free. It's not very extensive. I don't even think they're continuing to add to it. They were going to at one time. But what I liked about it is it covered all the GED topics. So a lot of times I would go there and either get help for myself, or I would send my students there, or we would go through it together, because I found he taught fractions better than Miss Ashley. So again, that's just one of my favorite tools out there, and I always like to share that one. All right, so that was my power lesson. Let me go back to my slides. So, oh, we missed it. We missed putting a slide there. Does anybody, so we'll just talk about it. So thoughts, tell me about thoughts or comments about either the activities in either lesson, or do you think any of these tools could be useful in a tutoring environment? Activities, tools. I mean, obviously we can't do the wheat thins in a virtual environment, but what about the other ones? You can unmute yourself if you'd like to.
The HyperDoc looks good. That's what you created, all of that on the HyperDoc?
I used a Google document and I
Okay.
created the rest. Yes. And
Okay.
I will be sharing that resource with you as well. So yeah,
Okay.
HyperDoc isn't like, it's not a company. Just so
Okay.
everybody knows, it's not a company. It is a concept. So it's
Oh, okay.
basically, it's a digital lesson. So you saw that Wakelet I did in the beginning. That's a HyperDoc also. So it's
Okay.
basically a digital. When I use Google, it's when I'm getting creative and I have
Okay.
a creative, you know, but when I want to be quicker and want to just get it done, I use a Wakelet. So yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot of, you can do it with all sorts of things out there. But yeah, that's how I taught every lesson I had.
And Paula put in that she likes School Yourself, and I'm assuming you're meaning you already use it, Paula?
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
That makes me happy because not that many people know about School Yourself. And it was one of my favorites. So, you know, I'm just like, you should know about it because it's free. I just wish they were still expanding it.
You learned it from Tech and Tell. Yay.
Oh, I forgot we did a tech and tell.
Yep.
Yeah, you probably most of the things we look at, we probably have a tech and tell on, and if we don't, we should. It's pretty much, in my opinion. All right, because we kind of cut your time short on the last one. Oh, we're already at 7:22. We're gonna give you this time your options are gonna be which one doesn't belong. If you want something, simple just to go explore. Formative if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous and want to kind of check it out, see what's entailed with that. And the third one is FET. So those are going to be the 3 breakout sessions you'll get to choose from. We'll give you 15 solid minutes on this time. And if Megan, you can go ahead and open those breakout rooms. Before you do it though, let's do this real quick. I'm going to drop all 3. Oh, I lost all of my things. Okay, go ahead and do it and I will pull up the links.
And one thing that we were talking about, if one of you, if whoever's in the room, somebody that wants to share their screen in the breakout room, so anybody else that's in there, you guys can interact together or do it on your own personal computer, however you want to do it. But I thought that way it doesn't, yeah, however you want to do it. But there's
a lot of flexibility.
I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, once you get in, just go ahead and start exploring and we'll bring the scavenger hunt around.
Okay. I'll go to which one doesn't belong first.
Okay.
And would you like me to do one for you guys, or?
I don't think you can because it kicks you out. Or something happens when you do that, doesn't it?
I don't know. I have the option to join a group if I.
Oh. Go for it. I've lost everything. Like I just lost my pacing guide. So if you want to go for it, go for it.
Okay, I'll join the formative one. And Linda, do you need help getting into a room? Sorry, you're muted.
I was trying to figure out which one was the easiest one.
The easiest one, Glenda, I can tell you, the most fun, in my opinion, is FET. The
Okay.
easiest one is going to be which one doesn't belong.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll bystand in FET then.
All right.
Fun. Okay.
Which one did I don't remember where Krista. Oh, Krista's in which one doesn't belong. I'll go to formative. All right.
Okay. Oh, I can join that. All right. Thank
Okay, so now we are behind. So I don't remember. I mean, it's been so long since we've done this, Krista. I don't remember. I mean, we're going to take a break after this.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about if we take a 15-minute, like if we give them 15 minutes now, let's say 7:45-ish.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, role play doesn't have to take as long, it doesn't have to take 30 minutes and it may
Yeah,
not.
that's what I'm thinking too.
Then
I
you've
kind of
got-
feel like,
Then you got 15 minutes for final thoughts and questions, but you can fill that in with Wakelet the whole time.
oh yeah, absolutely. I just hope we don't, I hope we're not being too disruptive of exploring is the only thing I feel like we're moving too fast, but that's okay. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
During Gareth's session, he asked if they wanted to have a break or not, and they all said no, and then they wound up like staying on the whole time essentially. So I feel like this group is kind of
Breaks aren't just for the participants. No, I'm good with whatever we do. Actually, I just need to go to the bathroom like right now. So I'm gonna step away since they're doing that. I will take my little break right now and come back in a few minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever. It's up to you, Krista. You decide on the break. I mean, I usually don't want to take a 15-minute break when I'm online. You
Right.
know, but I'm like I said, I'm not a smoker.
You-
So
you-
yeah, let's
yeah,
give them
you-
the option.
Yeah. And you just kind of start wandering around at some point.
That's just aimlessly wandering.
I do.
Wandering. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go. So Megan, you can see how when you said there's only 27 slides, it's because it's all over the
Yeah.
place.
yeah, with all the breakout rooms.
Don't need a lot of slides if you've got activities.
Which I like this better. Like it definitely makes the time go faster, and
Mm-hmm.
when you're just going through those slides, it gets real long.
Yep. And hopefully this is what Paula was hoping for.
Yeah. I think so. And I think especially with this sort of session, being able to actually interact with the tech is key.
Yes. Well, anytime we've ever done this, what people have always wanted is more time to play and interact with the tools. And
And they're kind of fun. I was playing with them earlier when she was talking about them. But I have my volume up really high. So like every time I did one of the problems, it was like, ding. It's funny how like this website, it's so loud, but Zoom, I have to like crank my volume up really high.
what time is your closing tomorrow?
12:30.
Okay.
But we have to drive to Houston from Tyler.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I was just in Tyler.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually that's where I used to live,
Oh.
but
That's
I was
great.
there over the weekend. Well, sort of. I was in Grand Saline. I guess it's not officially Tyler. I was near Tyler.
Well, yeah, same. I'm actually in Flint.
Ah, I used to live in Flint.
Oh, really? That's
Wow.
great. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I don't really talk about it much. I lived there for like 10 years before I started this job.
Gotcha.
Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I was gonna check on my Wakelet. Because I just recycled the Wakelet from one of our other sessions, but I thought maybe it'd be a good idea that I make sure that I keep making promises. Oh, you'll get all this. Yeah, it's all on there. You'll have all of this. I'm like, I better make sure that's true. Half of my links have expired. Jesus. No, we're good still. So, Megan, where are you moving?
I'm moving to Kingwood in the Houston area.
Oh, nice. I was hoping you weren't gonna. So do you live in Tyler right now or Flint?
Well, I'm staying with my in-laws.
Okay.
Well, we closed on our house in Odessa, and we had like a 2 week gap between our closings.
Oh,
We were
goodness.
so close to getting it to line up, but so we had to move everything out of the house, put it in storage because my in-laws have this big like storage shed, and then we'll move everything over.
Ugh, moving sucks. It
Yes.
does. Ugh. So much. It's so stressful.
It is. And like we threw in that Hawaii trip like right before we moved out.
Yeah, nice.
Which like it's Hawaii. I'm not gonna complain about that. But we got back and it's like, okay, now we need to leave our house in like 4 days.
Yeah, that's a lot to do in a very short period of time.
I mean, we'd already started packing before we left, but it was stressful.
Yeah, but it's stressful anyway, and then you added that to it. So
So like we were in Hawaii and we were getting calls at like 4 a.m. from our lender being like, we don't have this document.
oh my
We're like,
God, crazy. I assume you guys have the link for the evaluation or whatever.
Got it ready.
How come it's not on that slide?
Because it's an old template.
Um, did you take tomorrow morning off, Krista?
I took the whole day off tomorrow.
You're so smart.
I'm going to yeah, so I worked all day but using half of comp time to girls' trip to Wimberley, which I'm afraid is gonna be horrendous with the eclipse traffic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to be leaving there early on Sunday to get back.
The eclipse traffic is kind of confusing me. What is it? Just because a lot of places are doing a special thing? Is it, or are there
No,
different
it's
days than others?
it's the where the areas of totality are going to be is where people are going to.
Which areas are there so I can avoid them?
So it's San Antonio,
Tyler.
Fredericksburg,
I
Wimberley.
heard Tyler, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of crazy out there. They've actually closed schools in
Oh, good grief.
Falls and Fredericksburg and all of that Central Texas area. They've closed schools
Wow.
even for that day.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They should close our school. They should close our job down for that day. 2
No,
days.
they'll just make us work KWL. We don't get days off anymore.
I'm okay with that. I'd rather do that than go in there and deal with the traffic.
Yeah, of course Monday is my AWL day, so
Oh, that's true.
I I'm already planning on being here.
Oh my God, these dogs are driving me crazy.
And the forecast is for it to be overcast, so
Yeah.
Really?
aren't even gonna see it anyway.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Good kinda.
I mean, and people that bed and breakfasts and VRBOs and those places and hotels were, $1,000 for the week. And I mean, it just ridiculous amounts of money that they're charging for housing.
All it takes is a little hype.
Yep.
Hey, baby.
So how much time had they had? 7:37.
We started at 7:27.
Okay.
So maybe like 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Say hi, buddy. Buddy,
Hi,
there's
buddy.
here's Krista, buddy.
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 Hey, baby buddy.
Come here. Come here.
Hi, buddy.
There we go.
Hey,
Hi.
that's my sweet boy. That's my sweet boy.
Yeah. Do you hear her? He's like, why aren't we in bed?
Yeah. Isn't
I
that
know,
bed-
right?
Isn't that bedtime, Mom?
Mom, I need the attention.
Come here. Hi, baby girl. I know. No.
And there's Bailey, because she can't stand to be left
Ignored.
out.
Okay, go lay down. Leave me alone.
I'm surprised Luna's not in there.
At one point during this, they were barging in and out. And I just muted while that was happening. But yeah, she came and jumped on the freaking window. It was like,
Oh
"Ah."
gosh.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a madhouse. Oh man.
Don't start that.
I don't know how people work nights. No, I used to work every night of the week, but now I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Jody Cobbler asked if I wanted to do a math class in Madisonville 2 nights a week, and it's like, nope.
Oh, an actual math class?
Yeah, actually going and teaching.
Like in person?
Yes.
Oh God, does she understand that? How far is that? Oh, I know how far that is.
Yeah, Madisonville's not that far away, but you know me, I'm not doing anything after dark and after night. And
Hold on, where?
Jason was like, well, I'll drive you. And it's like, no.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that would be, it's hard anyway, but then like going physically after working all day would probably kill me off right
Yep.
now anyway. I can barely keep up with my own job.
Hmm.
Oh, that answer. We can probably in about 1 more minute, Megan, bring
Close
them
the
back.
rooms. And it gives them a 30-second warning, so I can start it a
Yeah.
little earlier.
Let me get my slides back up.
All right, so I think I'll go ahead and close them if you guys are ready.
Okay.
Then they'll have the 30 seconds.
Just realized I was sitting here in the dark. I'm like, it's getting darker and darker.
Well, it's kind of funny to watch you walk away with the background on, like you were going off into the ocean.
That's funny.
I'm gonna go swimming now.
Bye, guys.
You wish.
I do wish.
All right. Oops. Didn't know what side with my mouse over here. All right. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So before we do anything, does anybody have any thoughts they would like to share, or did you see anything that was intriguing, or you want to learn more about any of the things?
The formative was really, really interesting.
Wonderful. Yeah, I haven't hit that one in a long time, but I used to use it religiously in a virtual assignment, in a virtual environment. Mostly because my students were all on phones, much to my chagrin, and it's designed for it looks really good on a phone. The other nice thing is you can also print off the lessons as well. So
Yeah.
lots of things to do with that one.
And the library's got a lot of info, a lot of pre-created formatives that somebody else has done.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. I used to be very active in that community once upon a time, not so much anymore, but yeah, it's nice. They already have that library designed for you, and then you can just edit it. And I love that anything that you can do that with.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they wanted to share? Okay.
It's really cool. Even their chemistry component is very cool because you can build a nucleus. They can show you, all the different components, build a molecule, diffusion, gases,
Yes.
osmosis. So a lot of other things as well. Like in math too, like it's pretty interactive.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you could get lost in that one. There's so
Yes.
much like it, but again, I love the ease of I could just Google, hey, FET and just a topic, and it comes up, and immediately I know if they have it or not. So yeah, I love that one. That's the one you were talking about, right, FET?
Right.
Okay, just checking. All right. Anyone else have anything before we continue?
I was gonna ask Linda and the group that was in with the which one doesn't belong. What did y'all think about that site? Did you see what I meant about open-ended discussions?
I like that. It was very interesting. It was kind of like relaxing to the brain to try to figure out all the answers.
Yes.
It was really nice.
Yes. Because that's one thing I love is that there's not necessarily one right answer. How you see it. Linda?
Some of the harder ones made me think, man, I should have gone to school myself first.
Love it.
I love it.
Or ChatGPT, whichever.
Yep.
All right. So we had scheduled a break. So we are going to leave this up to you guys. Did you guys, just let us know. Did you guys want to take a 15-minute break? Need a 5-minute break, or you don't feel like you need a break? You can just, go when you need to go. What's everybody think for such a small group? Who wants a 15-minute break? Raise your hand. Nobody raises that. Okay.
We should keep on rolling.
You want to keep on rolling? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll just let you go as you need to. So if you need to get up, get a drink or anything. Okay. We'll keep going. That'll allow us to get through everything in the right amount of time. All right, then we're going to keep going. Keep your comments coming. Thank you. Paula's going to step away. If anybody else is, just give us a heads up.
You know what, Ashley, why don't we just go ahead and do just a 2-minute
5-minute?
stretch?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, let's just.
Works for me.
And
So how many minutes was that?
I said 2, so right at 7:49.
Okay, 2 minutes. I'm glad you said that because I thought you said 10.
No, no, no.
I would
Just-
not have been
just to
back.
Stand up and stretch and move for a minute.
All right, awesome. Everybody back at 7:49. We'll be back in just a minute. All right. I think everybody's starting to come back. We'll give it about one more minute. All right, I think we're about ready to coming to the home stretch here. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our final example, which is going to be introduction to functions. So I'm gonna hand it over to Krista. Get this pulled up over here.
Right, get it in the. All right, and I've got it in the, well, no, it's not. Megan, yeah, thank you. Megan, if you can get the link in there, didn't copy as a link for me for some reason. All right. So, there we go. Megan's got it in there for you.
I was having the same issue earlier.
It's a
All right,
lot of
so-
links.
Functions is one of those lessons, one of those concepts that seems difficult. Students don't like the word functions. A lot of teachers I know don't like the word functions. But when we look at this traditional lesson, You can see that I put it in a real world kind of scenario because construction uses a lot of functions. And so one of the first things that we do in the warm-up review is we have a vending machine analogy that when you insert an input, you get an output. So you put A3 and out comes the candy. So that was just kind of an analogy and a visual for using a vending machine and using that as a visual for the functions. And then I brought it, the introduction and the presentation is, you know, showing how relationships work and how many 2x4s are needed to build a room, and the cost for each board is $5, and that becomes a function because no matter what you put in the place of X will tell you how much money it's going to cost. And so we can write these functions out, then we can use a table. And then from the table, we can also expand on to graphing. So basically this lesson is all pretty much on the board, or if I had a Promethean board, I'd have some tables there. The students would do a lot of just work at their desk, writing 3 functions, and a table for each of the scenarios. And then for lower level, give the functions and create tables. Higher level, write, solve, and create tables for given situations, then create a matching graph. So these are, again, this had no technology in it whatsoever, but a very basic introduction to functions with a lot of the real world and work concepts brought into that. All right. And I love functions because you can do the equation and the tables and then create a graph and show how everything interacts to it. So Ashley's going to show us how she does it with technology. She's
Sorry, I was muted. What I had just said is that I'm not a lover of the functions because I've never taught them. So when she told me she was going to give me a functions lesson, I kind of cried a little bit and was really stressed out because I was like, what am I going to do? But anyway, I had a lot of fun with it. I wonder if this is going to work. What I found was, so again, you'll see I'm using a Wakelet. This is a HyperDoc, again, so it's a digital lesson. But this time we're going to look at, we start with our, I kind of did it, I believe I did it kind of like a 5Es lesson. So first thing we did is we did an ed puzzle about a vending machine function. I'll be very surprised if this works. Let's see if it works. Let's just try it out. Looks like it's going to work. So this is kind of, I'm not going to like show you guys the whole thing, but just so you can get an idea of what an ed puzzle is. This is an ed puzzle. So it's a
Here's
video.
an example of a vending machine. If we zoom in a little closer, here's what it looks like. As you can see, there's all the codes to select each snack.
So what you'll see is you'll have these little interruptions here. And when the video gets to that part, it pulls up a question for the student to answer. So it kind of goes from there. I'm having problems manipulating it from my Zoom, but that's what each one does. Like it stops and then it'll
Look
say,
at a vending machine.
oops,
What do you need to
stop talking, but it'll stop and ask a question, or you have an opportunity for, discussion, just different things. And students can do this independently, or you can do it together, or, you can even do it from like your own, you can show it and then they can answer from their computers or phones. So there's a lot of options there, but I just happened to find a vending machine function that went along with Krista's little lesson. So it worked out great. And then we went to, I don't know, some of you are pretty math techie. You may know Desmos. I think Desmos is one of my favorite for math, but explore, guess my rule. So we talk about first example of a person's birthday and on. And then after that, they go to this activity builder with Desmos. And this is right here. So it's a warm-up activity. And so you'll see that, you know, this machine uses a secret rule to turn inputs into outputs. So rule number one allows all integers as inputs. So it says click to try it. So you try it. And you see what happens. And so once you try it, you have to determine what the rule is. So we'll just click anything. And then from there, you continue. I've got these things in my way. But anyway, then it tells you if it's right or if it's wrong, and then you go to the next one. But it's really, again, you know, we are doing that critical thinking. It's a great tool to use. And there's so many things Desmos does these days. This is just one small example. But, you know, I was talking about GeoGebra earlier, and this is, you'll notice I'm not in an account right now. So Desmos does have an account that you can get. You can do 1,000 different things with it, but I just took something that didn't require an account and just inputted it into my lesson. From there, we just do an overview of functions and use some slides, just Google Slides. I'm sure we're all familiar with those. But we just have Google Slides that is, again, based on Krista's original lesson plan. So we talk about functions, we talk about all of these, you know, it's just a little bit more visual than just talking about it. You know, we're kind of meeting all of those different learners' needs, right? So not just the auditory, but now we've got a little bit more vision as well. But anyway, some nice slides that went along with it. Again, the student can have access to these after the fact, just like we were talking before, and it's kind of a nice little guide for them to go back to. And then we do practice. So your teacher will give you function problems to solve. And then again, I use quizzes as another option for, you know, an assessment, fun way to do assessment. And again, you'll see, like I said, I use a lot of the same tools. Extend, so if they need more opportunities to practice, I have another formative on them for them. And then if they need a review, we also did some math lessons. We created math video lessons that were contextualized 4 years ago, I think. So I included that video on there as well for them to reference. Okay, so that was a quick run through on that. So thoughts about anything you saw of those two lessons, if you have any thoughts, before we go to the activity. And this will be our final one. My slideshow back up here. Oops. Okay. No thoughts? I know we're getting kind of late in the night here. Did anybody see anything that intrigued them or they're interested in learning more about?
I've never used quizzes, so I guess I'm interested in that.
Okay. So on this last one, we are giving, oh, I don't even have it up right. Hold on. I'm in the wrong screen. Okay. So this last section, I think we're going to give you a little bit more room. We only picked 2 of them. We put School Yourself in there and Desmos on there because we had mentioned quizzes, but you're welcome to choose anything you want to and explore it however you want to. And then if you guys have questions, you can just kind of ask me. So if you do School Yourself or Desmos, we do have scavenger hunts for both of those. But if you just kind of are like, hey, I'm more interested in quizzes or one of the other ones you saw today, you're welcome to explore those as well. So, you know, we're trying to keep this fairly flexible to kind of meet your needs and how you want to do it. So if you want to explore, how about this? If you want to explore something else, why don't you just stay in this room? And I'll be here to answer questions if you have any. And then if you want to do School Yourself, we'll go to breakout 1. And if you want to do Desmos, it says breakout 1, 2. It is just breakout 2. Let's just keep it confusing. Everybody go to breakout 1. Okay, it'll be breakout 2. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. breakout 2 for Desmos. So we're gonna let Megan put those breakout rooms up, and I will stay in this room with whoever wants to just kind of play around.
And I'll get the links into School Yourself and
Perfect. Thank you. Everybody went to School Yourself. Okay, there we go.
Poor Paula, just on her own out there.
I saw that, poor thing. She's got Krista in there with her now. It's 8:03. Actually, Paula doing okay by herself?
yeah.
Probably just playing.
Yeah, she was like, I'll let you do it. And
So really, we're pretty much on schedule now since we did that with break.
yeah.
Mm.
On the School Yourself form, on the title, it's got School Yourself twice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Oh, oops. There we go. That's separate. There we go. It's fixed.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
These little sites are kind of cool.
The what?
These sites are kind of cool. They weren't doing any of this stuff when I was learning math.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. And School Yourself is one that we actually have suggested to teachers that are struggling
Mm-hmm.
with the math concepts for themselves, not just for teaching, but just on their own.
Yeah.
And so,
I didn't write down the time that we started this one. Probably about 8:05.
yeah, probably 8:03-ish.
When we did this with Gareth, I was like super vigilant about taking like all the notes on the times that all these little things happened, but I haven't been nearly as vigilant with this one because I'm like, oh, Chris and Ashley are here. Everything's gonna go smoothly. Like, too
Yeah.
relaxed.
No, so I'm going to get the PowerPoint and I've got a couple of things. I'm trying to think. But I'll get the PowerPoint into Monday.com and have you send out the handouts. So what the three things that you're sending are those lesson plans, those original lesson plans. Because
Okay.
those are actual documents. And then but everything else is embedded in the Nearpod. And so everything should work okay. I'm hoping. I don't know if Ashley needs to. Ashley said that the Google form should work okay as well. It was just this part that didn't. So. But we'll be around, if they get stuck, we'll be around to help get people out and into it and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
I was talking about the Nearpod and you said that the scavenger hunt things should be just fine in that.
Nope,
Just-
it saved automatically. The link hasn't changed.
Right.
It's just the restrictions have changed.
Yeah. And then I was my brain doesn't work at this point in time at night. But and I was just saying that if anybody gets stuck, they can email us or the call center or whatever.
Call center. Call center's live. We're not. And they know how to do everything, probably better than us.
Yeah.
So those lesson plans that you want me to send in the email, it's
Mhm.
the traditional lesson or the Wakelet?
Just
No,
send the
it's
Wakelet.
traditional.
But-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, the Wakelet has everything on it.
True.
What were you gonna do?
I was just gonna send them the 3 documents.
Well, here, because if we do, hold on. Get out of the trash. If we just send them this, it has everything on it. Like the lesson plans are here. It has all the lesson plans.
Okay.
And then we have the resources that we use. We have the power lesson. We have everything. And then we have the hyperdocs that I told them about. So why don't you just send them this, Megan?
Okay.
And then it's just one link.
Do we need to include instructions on? Because that's not the instructions we.
What are the instructions? I don't really know what you're talking about. What
Well-
what are we talking about?
Well, for the async, the people, so that they know when to open that up and stuff.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe I should stay in my lane and mind my own business because I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I like the idea of the Wakelet and everything.
I thought you meant just as a resource or whatever. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no,
maybe
no.
just
This is
doesn't-
for the asynchronous people.
Well, you know what I had thought about doing was just embedding it into it, but just do it that way. Yeah, just listen to Kristen, ignore me. I totally misunderstood what you guys were talking about. This whole asynchronous thing is just like,
Yeah, that I'm
it makes it so confusing.
yes.
Never mind, Megan. Don't listen to Ashley Winkle. She's an idiot.
No, you're fine. It's
I'm always looking for an easier plan.
that's what I'm trying to do is just try to keep things as easy and
Which is not easy with this session. Good God.
no. Well, I'll be really impressed if everybody gets it.
What do you want to do? Give them 3 or 4 more minutes? Or is that even enough?
8:12, so we started this at 8:03-ish, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep looking at my clock on my computer is not right.
So about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That'd be 8:18. And we'll go right into the role play and then talk it out and say goodbye.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll show them the resources.
Yes.
I think there's more than enough time for that, so especially if we have a little more time. Because I know we're trying to get to the full 3.
Well, 10-15 minutes early is not gonna hurt anything.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah, no.
Not gonna hurt us either.
Not in the least.
What are we going on tomorrow morning? Yeah, I don't have anything going on tomorrow morning. Don't tell anybody. I should have taken tomorrow morning off. When are you leaving, Krista?
I'm not gonna have to leave till around 1:30.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
nice.
nice. Yeah. I was going to go and meet them in Fredericksburg and then backtrack to Wimberley, and it's 4 hours to Fredericksburg from here. It's like, that's just to have a margarita. It's just like, no. I'll just
Yeah.
at the house.
Yeah, when I drove the 3 hours or whatever up north for Easter, I was like, it's a lot for 2 hours.
Yes.
This doesn't really seem worth it.
Hi, Paula. See you back.
Yes, I am. I put in the chat that maybe I just don't know what I was doing, but I clicked on the Desmos and then it said, to go to which one doesn't belong. But it didn't give me too much about the Desmos.
You mean there's an error on your form is what I bet. Yeah.
And I did it several times and I'm like, wait a minute, these questions don't look like they go with this. And so I probably failed the test because
That's okay, because it sounds like there's an error on your test. So let me go back and look at that. Yeah, it sounds like you had the wrong link on there. Yeah. Not your fault. That's my fault.
Oh, yeah, it does say which one doesn't belong.
I knew I should have had another set of eyes on everything. Desmos.
well, that's all right. Best laid plans of mice and men.
Well, I'm fixing it now. For what it's worth.
Always glad to be of service.
Desmos. Okay.
So do we need to check the ones that are embedded in the Nearpod?
No, because this is them. They're the same.
Okay, so you're changing it here and then they,
As long as I change it here, it's the same because it's the same links.
perfect.
So there shouldn't be need to. I would appreciate it if somebody goes through every single one of these links and looks at it. Oh, just in case. Because it looks like it's mostly that first one because I was copying and pasting, obviously. All right, where are we in time? Do we want to give them a heads up?
Yeah, we're at 8:18.
All right, we'll give them 2 more minutes.
So it works. It's the business. Okay. The rest of them, they all look good now.
Okay, good grief.
Should I go ahead and close the rooms?
Yeah, I think you're good.
All right, glad you're all back. Right. Ashley, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
All right. Okay, so this was our final little tech tool exploration activity. So of all the activities you've seen today, does anybody have a favorite yet? We will ask again. I'm probably a little ahead of myself. Somebody said that was awesome. Oh, Linda said that. That was awesome. What was awesome? Tell me more. Tell me what was awesome. Because you got like capitals awesome. So you're like yelling it, screaming to the world.
Oh, well, school yourself. Remember, I'm almost 100, so it's been a long time since I reviewed some of this stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, and the way they explain it is so understandable. Very
I
nice.
love it. Yeah, me too. Yeah, like I said, that's how I taught math. Like I had to go learn it. So, and I liked the way he taught it. So I was like, hey, this is great. Yeah, and actually it's kind of just fun to do too. So yeah, that's fantastic. Great. Anybody else have any final thoughts before we do a final activity with Krista? School yourself, great detailed videos. I'm glad you guys like that one. It's definitely one of those that is doesn't get enough attention. Let's put it that way. I hear about all the others, but I'm like, what about good old school yourself? It's definitely one, and it's really great for students too. So for when we're talking about that extra practice or anything like that, or sometimes, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes even a student just needs to hear it a different way sometimes. I think somebody mentioned that earlier, or no, that was a conversation I was having earlier before I came in here today. Is the guy at the gym was telling me that he has what is the math you know what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to say it wrong. The math disability that you had, that there is that one, dyscalculia or whatever.
There you go. You got it. Dyscalculia.
But yeah, he was actually talking about that. So I was thinking it was here, but he was talking about it was math in particular. And, but he said at that time that he said, well, he had a math teacher who believed that there should only be one way to do math, and that was that. And, it's not it shouldn't be that way. And so sometimes it's nice just to see a different way or to have a different voice or, you know, anything else. So that's kind of why I like having, you know, little few other options, especially ones that are nice and easy and free like that. All right. If you have other comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. Aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Krista for our last little activity of the night before we close it out.
Okay, so we wanted you to have a chance to kind of practice and using one of the tools. So we're going to put you in breakout rooms of 2 people each, and one room will have an extra because Linda will and Linda, if you just want to sit back and watch, that would be fine. But what you're going to do is role play using the tech tools highlighted in this session. And you and your partner are going to take turns being a student and a tutor. As the student, you're going to ask your tutor a math question. And as a tutor, you're going to assist the student using at least one tech tool more if possible. And then switch roles and repeat the process. Okay. And we'll put these instructions in the chat so that you can have it when you get into your room. So you're just going to be a student and a tutor and ask a question, use a tech tool, and then we'll bring you all back in and discuss the experience and which tech tool you used and how it worked for you. What I was going to say is, well, we'll probably put a timer on here, 15 minutes, Ashley, 15, 20 minutes. But when you're finished, go ahead and come back into the main room. And then when everybody's back in, we'll just kick off and do our final discussion. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Is there a list, the link for the tech tools?
I'm sorry?
Will there be like a listing for the tech tools?
I'm not hearing you. I'm sorry.
Did you ask for a list of the tech tools? I think she asked for a list of the tech tools.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I'll drop the Wakelet into the chat right now. So, oh, actually, Megan, you're on it. Okay, Megan just dropped. It's called Digital Handout Wakelet. Maybe this is a good time for me just to kind of show you where to go, so that you can see what your different options are. I didn't actually think to have that list, but it's all on here. So I'll just kind of show you. I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, so here is the Wakelet. On this Wakelet, I'll just show you we've got all the lesson plans on there, but here you'll see resources used. So if you click on this one, this has a list of them. There are a few extras on there as well because we've done this in various ways. So you're welcome to use any of these. I'm going to actually drop this one in there so that you have something directly to take with you. So your main tools are on there, but there are a few extras on there, just a heads up on that. I keep doing the wrong invites. Hold on. Publish, share, copy link. Let me try that again. There we go. That second one should open up for you. And then if you guys have questions or anything, just holler at us. All right, are we putting them in breakout rooms? I have so many things open right now, I can't see anything.
Megan, are you on that or do you want me to do it? Megan?
I don't even see
Sorry,
her.
I was still
Oh.
muted. I was asking, did you want 5 breakout rooms or 4 breakout rooms?
2
to
people
3.
in each. So,
3.
and Linda with 3.
Okay.
So that's basically 3 breakout rooms.
Okay.
Okay. So go in, two people in a room. So if room 1 is full, so go into 2 people into room 2 and then 3 people.
Keep talking even though I'm muted. All right, we should be good now. Why is that not helping? I guess you're limited on how much you could put on those broadcasts. That's too bad.
Huh.
Like there's like only so many characters you can use is what I'm saying. It would be nice if you could put like I was trying to see if you could put like all the directions on the top there. That would be very convenient, right? Nope, you can't.
We're almost done.
It's probably good.
I figured it. If they just tell them to come on back when they're done, that'll be, and then if somebody's taking way too long, we'll go find them, but. So the PowerPoint that you sent Megan and us, that's the final one, right?
Yes, ma'am. I got rid of the other ones.
On the last slide in the notes, there's an Ashley handout. Do you want me to put that in or is that an old link? Because it's not in the pacing
Oh, that's
guide.
hold on a second. That's probably old. It's kind of the problem when you recycle things. If it's not on the pacing guide, I'm going to say no, but let me just see what it is. No, that's expired. So we just need to delete that.
Okay.
No, it's on it'll be the digital handout is on the pacing guide. It's the one you already shared, and we'll share it again. We can also turn that into an actual PDF if we want to. If any, that's usually what I do. I can do it right now. Mhm.
Guys, it hit me.
What did you say?
It hit me now.
That it's
Sun's fully down. I'm like, I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I cringed when she said it's from 6 to 9. I'm like, oh, I haven't done one of these in a long time. There's a reason I avoid them.
Yes.
Can we do like Saturday morning? I'm more of a morning person.
Thanks, guys.
Or even 5, start at 5 to be done at 8.
I know, we're such babies. We're old. We used to, a long time ago, Megan, Tech and Tells used to be so weird. They used to do them on Thursdays and Fridays of every week. You would do the same one. Like if you were the presenter, you'd do the same one. But on Thursday nights, they were at 8 o'clock at night.
Ugh.
That was freaking terrible. So you do it at 8 o'clock on Thursday night, and then you turn around and do it again at 11:30 on Friday morning. But I had more energy back then is the difference. Like now I'd be like, yeah, I don't think so.
We did that to try to capture the teachers that taught,
Mhm.
and we're done at 8, but
In the beginning, I feel like it worked out pretty well, but towards the end, people just were not showing up. Or there were a couple times I was quite confident that some of the people who showed up were a little intoxicated. And so I was like, I do not think this is a good idea anymore. Not that I had any say in it because I didn't even work for T-Call, but I did a lot of presentations for her though. Here. MACC. Did that go? Oh, there it is. Here. There's the actual PDF version. Of the handout. Oh, there's a low. That's the wrong handout, Megan. Well, like that's the one that's on the handout. One moment. Let me try that again. The digital one.
I think
Yeah,
I need to
so
update Zoom.
go ahead. You what?
I think I need to update Zoom. It keeps like stalling on me.
Ugh.
I might delete
You're in
that.
Flint.
That could be it.
You do not have good access there, trust me. Remember.
But that is the wrong PDF.
Well, yes and no. Like this is what they're looking at right now, but this is basically on this other one. I just like to keep things confusing. This is like the full one that I'm sending you right now. This is the PDF version, but yeah, that's the right one.
Ashley likes to have multiple versions of things and
Not on purpose.
and then forgets.
Just to the add some spice.
That's what, yeah, I just like to keep you on your toes, Krista. Well, today, like everything that's in that Google folder, I deleted anything that didn't belong. So I'm like, I'm not even playing around with this.
No.
But then I had to turn around and create. So I didn't even tell you about that. So I had to turn around and recreate the pacing guide because it was doing something I've never experienced before. You know where on the pacing guide it says like 6 to whatever and 6:15 to whatever, like the top couple of lines. For some reason, it was reappearing at the bottom and connecting to it, and I couldn't get it to stop. The only thing I was thinking was like, maybe it's stuck in the header, but it wasn't that. I sat here for way too much time
Oh,
trying to
good
fix it.
Lord.
Only because, normally I wouldn't have spent that much time on it, but it's just me, and I'm always just like, I need to know why, what's the problem? I couldn't figure it out. And that's why I was like, never mind. Sorry, Krista, creating a new document.
Yep, just
But I did delete the other one. But yeah, it was bizarre. And it was just driving, no matter, even if I like completely deleted everything and then tried to just like, it would still do it. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I was just like, oh my God, fucking technology, I swear to God.
yeah.
Probably just like some sort of a glitch or something, but it was something with the formatting. It was just making me insane.
Yeah, that's when it gets so frustrating that you just want to just stop and
That you need to find an
And call the call
alternative
center.
solution. Yeah, that's right. That's what I should have done. I should have given Rena, figure this out. Oh, I totally should have done that, but I already deleted it. That chick can figure anything out in the world, I swear to God.
I don't know what time we sent them in.
Well, my watch says it's bedtime. It says bedtime reminder. What the hell are you doing up? I know. When I told my niece, I go, I have to work from 6 to 9. She's like, oh my God, you're not going to be able to be up that late.
I mean, I haven't even had a glass of wine tonight.
I'm sitting here going 18 more minutes. Oh, wait. For some reason, my laptop says that it is 8:42. I don't know why. 3 minutes ahead.
Yeah, mine is actually on time. It used to be off,
I
but
wonder why that happens.
I don't know. But that's where all the Fall Institute computers all had different times.
I remember that. That was a mess. It's always the little things
Yep.
that screw everything up. Like,
Yeah.
for example, the little mess ups I had on the Google Forms. I knew when I did those Google Forms, I'm like, there's gonna be something wrong. Oh well.
I thought Rebecca did those.
She did, but I'm the one who added the directions.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was part one of the problem. Part two, the problem was I did not tell her about, I don't think she knew about the Texas A&M restriction.
Yeah.
So I bet you I remember now.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be that big of a deal, except that there were what, 5 or 6 of them. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
No. And this is why people quit using technology.
How much longer do we want to give them?
Well, it's 8:41. I mean, how about 4 more minutes?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm actually surprised they didn't all just come back, because I probably would have BS'd this one, to be honest.
Evidently, this group either they are just doing
They're
that.
great. I think they're
or-
great. I have to say, I really like them a lot. And I was a little nervous because I didn't know what to expect, but they've been really great.
Yeah. No, I had a feeling that we would have a good experience
Well,
with
you
it.
told me that what to expect. I felt a lot better about it, because I was like, oh, it's going to be like, because if you say tutor to me, I think of the volunteers at Literacy Council of Tyler, and those were not fun
No.
people to train, because I did it twice a year, every year, and it was like,
No.
they, they were usually mostly okay, but they were a nightmare for somebody who uses a lot of technology. They would just be, because they were always very elderly and
Yeah.
really rough critics, because everything they did was free. So you better not be wasting their time.
Yep.
It was very stressful.
And I'm gonna broadcast for 3 more minutes.
Okay.
No, I mean these folks know math, and I mean I honestly, Ashley, I think we were spot on with what we did tonight.
I
Based
think
on
so
just the little
too.
questions and stuff that
I don't know if maybe I would have done a few things differently, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the
Yeah.
evaluations are. The only thing I'm a little hesitant on is like, should we have had, I mean, we never know though. I don't want to give too many options, but it's like, did you see any of these? Maybe we should have changed up the scavenger hunt a little bit differently. So, because I felt a little bad that they couldn't play with Wakelet, because I was
Right,
like right immediately, everybody wanted that. But remember that happened that other time? Like, well, no, it happens every time. Everybody was interested in Hyperdocs. And then there was another
Yes.
time everybody was interested in, what was it? It was something else. And we're like, Jesus, we can't predict this.
No.
So
No,
I don't know if there's a
and-
way to give them a little bit more freedom to choose exactly what they want to go explore instead of us choosing for them.
Right.
That would be the only thing I would change. Other than that, I think we're good. I guess we'll see what they say. But yeah, I felt pretty good about it.
Mhm.
I mean, it is a fun session. I would love to take this session if I was. Of course, I might be a little biased, but I would because I'm like, ooh, I get playtime. Okay, yay.
Yeah. Like I said, just doing the scavenger hunt questions. I mean, that got me into every one of those sites and looked at them and got deeper into them. So
It's fun for me though too because they all keep changing super fast now. So when I was on quizzes this morning, I was lost. I was like, what did they do? And I was only lost because things have been moved and stuff. And also they got rid of my old account that I had. All of that's gone. So I had to start from scratch. Which was weird. But most of the changes are for the better. But yeah, with all the AI integrations, yeah, if you go look at Padlet, it is like on steroids now. It does so many things. I actually meant to do that. I meant to put it in because you can put it in like a slide view now. But anyway, it's pretty crazy. In a good way, I think most of them anyhow.
I did a broadcast for 1 more minute. So
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely
we're at 8:45. So
yep. Let me pull my slides back.
I'll go ahead and close the room since they've got the 30-second.
Okay.
Wait.
Share screen. I can find anything. There we go. Share. That's my PowerPoint.
Just so as you know, we're all looking at your, okay. There you go.
I fumble a little bit in Zoom land. It is my weakest tool, just so you know. Mostly because I'm not.
I feel like it's the one I use all the time.
I know that's how most
I'm
people
still
are.
fumbling with it. Like I was trying to create this breakout room and I was like, how do you make partners? And struggling with counting.
I know yeah. Well, and plus they change it all the time, so it makes it even more confusing. All right, I'm gonna let you close this out, Krista.
okay. So we'll just take a couple of minutes. How was that activity? Did you like the activity? Did you find the tools? Were you able to come up with questions? So anybody want to unmute and share your experience?
Or was it too hard on the spot? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so I want to say something. My partner and I was with Imelda. We used FET and I asked her about inequalities. And then she Google searched it, just how you did with the area, and we
Yeah.
were able to get a simulation.
Nice.
It was a little bit difficult because we had to kind of understand it like on the spot. We didn't know how to make a 4x or do it like that, and we found out we were able to double it and stuff like that. So I guess practice or actually use it before doing it with the student. I guess
Absolutely.
that's my takeaway.
That is a really good lesson to learn. And it's better to learn it in this environment than with students. I used to do it with students all the time. But yeah, that is something I'm constantly telling people is like practice with people. Call the call center, they'll practice with you, any of those things. Awesome though.
Great.
Yeah, it was a little almost too open-ended
Okay.
because we kind of had
But I
to
was
figure
afraid of.
out which direction we wanted to go and what resource we wanted to use. And, you know, once we were there, we, you know, looked at the resource and, you know, that was good, but it took us a little time to
Okay.
kind of narrow it down. And that was
Okay.
almost a little overwhelming as to like, okay, well, what are we going to do and what resource? So it wasn't just what are we going to do? I mean, it wasn't just what resource are we going to use? It's what are we going to do? And then what resource are we going to use?
Which is a really good point. Yeah, that's good feedback. Awesome.
All right.
Anybody else have anything?
Quiz.com. We did simple fractions of decimals to just get to the flow of it. And I think it's very interesting, like how it gives you quick options and also points out the options are pretty close. So if you're teaching a student who is giving an exam with, you know, multiple choices, it's pretty helpful in going through them, like giving them 20 questions. And it's a breeze if they know it. They don't have to kind of, you know, worry about, you can quickly tell them like, this is how you solve and everything. So I think it's a pretty helpful tool as well.
Was that quizzes?
Yeah, quizzes.
Okay, I just knew because you said 20 questions. Yeah, I mean, a tool like quizzes is also nice too, and because you can let them do it as many times as they want, which at the beginning I thought, well, that's ridiculous. Who wants to keep doing it? But I noticed, especially with my second language students, they want to do it until they get 100%. And at first I thought, but then I realized they were getting that practice and really mastering. So yeah, and it's a little bit different way to do it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Anybody else? All right. Ashley, take it away.
All right, so these are just our final thoughts. In the chat, or unmute yourself, whichever you're comfortable doing. We just want to know, did we meet our objectives? You've given us some great feedback already. Which tool you're most interested in learning more about? If you have more than one, that's great. If not, one is perfect. And how do you see using that tool in your tutoring sessions? Sorry, I couldn't mute myself before I sneezed.
So first of all, did we meet our objectives?
I think they're probably typing.
Yeah, we need the three little dancing
know.
dots.
I thought Zoom was going to eventually be doing that, but maybe that was a dream I had. Who knows?
Okay, so
Great. Joe
And-
said, formative and school yourself are great resources. Fantastic.
awesome.
Jet, I want to make wakelets that I can pull out and use for certain objectives. Great.
Yes.
Let me know if you need help. Happy to help. Also the call center is, but I'll take that call too. And like we said, a lot of these things are on Tech and Tells as well. FET for real world examples. Yeah, I love the hands-on of FET. It's amazing.
Yes. Desmos, yeah.
Paula wants to learn more. Yeah, Paula, I'm trying to get Desmos. We need to get an actual session on Desmos. So we're working on it. So if we get it, I will let you know. School yourself for extra detailed visual examples. Great. I want to become more familiar with FET and wakelets. Yay. So much popularity with wakelets. I'm excited. Definitely check out those tech intels, although, we may need to update those. That was like from 2020. Not trying to give myself more work, but
Right. All right.
Oops. Okay, so before we go, I actually want to learn more about all of them. Yay, Imelda, you know, that makes me very happy to hear. And I'm talking to Siri by accident. Whoops, didn't want to talk to her. Anyway, so just before we go, I did already show you the resource. We're also going to give you the resource, the digital handout. I'm also going to go ahead and put it in here as a PDF in case you're interested in having that. But please feel free, let us know if you have any questions, if you want to learn, or if you need anything at all. We are happy to help. We're both passionate, so we love this. Yes, quizzes is intriguing due to its vast library of interactive quizzes. Regular assessment to gauge students' understanding and reinforce learning. Love it. Thank you. I'm so happy you guys are excited about this. This is our information. I believe we are dropping a link to the evaluation in the chat. Please give us honest feedback. We've never done it this way before, so it's a little bit different, but I will say I think it's both of one of our favorite sessions because it is pretty interactive, but it's also, you know, math and technology. I think this was Krista dreamt this one up and I got really excited about it. So thank you guys for joining us on your time tonight, and, you know, let us know if there's anything else we can do for you.